we're dreaming of reaching our first 1,000 subscribers. Subscribe and be the first to discover new stories every day. I walked into the apartment, my shoulders stiff from a day hunched over spreadsheets, the faint hum of the TV slicing through the quiet. It was 7:32 p.m., my tie half loosened, keys clinking as I tossed them on the counter. Anna was sprawled on the couch, her face lit blue from her phone, scrolling like she was digging for treasure. I kicked off my shoes, soles scuffed from city pavement, and dropped onto the cushion next to her. My arm reached out, automatic, ready to pull her close like I'd done for years. Just a husband wanting a moment with his wife. Her hand shot up, sharp, like a cop stopping traffic. She didn't even look up from her screen. "You want closeness," she said, her voice flat, irritation seeping through. "But I just want you to back off." My chest tightened, a quick jab, like someone pressed a thumb into my ribs. My arm froze, then dropped. My jaw clenched for a second before I leaned back, giving her the space she demanded. The air turned heavy, like a storm rolling in. "All right," I said, my voice low, deliberate. "But if that's how you're playing it, you can cancel your request from me too. I'm not an ATM you can just unplug the human part from." She snorted, a quick, dismissive huff, but her fingers froze on her phone for a split second. I caught it. Her eyes flicked up, just for a moment, like she didn't expect pushback. "Whatever," she muttered, her voice catching, a crack in her cool girl act. I stood, grabbed a glass from the kitchen, and filled it with water, my fingers gripping the handle tighter than needed. My pulse was steady, but something shifted inside. I wasn't mad, not yet. I was just done letting her set the rules and expecting me to nod along. The next morning, I was halfway out the door, coffee sloshing in my travel mug, when my phone buzzed. Anna's name lit up. "Pick up my cosmetics package on your way home." No, please. No context. Just an order, like I was her errand boy. I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering over reply, my jaw tightening. Then I swiped it away and deleted the message. Done. A spark of satisfaction flared in my chest as I locked the door. If she wanted to treat me like a service, she could handle her own deliveries. Work was a slog. Endless emails, a meeting where my boss droned about quarterly projections, but that text gnawed at me. Not the package, but the tone. Like I was supposed to jump when she snapped her fingers. When I got home, my shoulders were knotted again. Anna was at the dining table, poking at a salad, her phone propped against a water glass. The air was thick, her mood a fog you could cut. I sat across from her, digging into my chicken and rice, acting like nothing was off. She didn't look up, just twirled her fork, lips pursed. Then she spoke, her voice dripping sarcasm. "So, what? You're ignoring me now?" Like a little girl throwing a tantrum. I chewed slowly, letting her words hang. My pulse ticked up, but I kept my eyes on my plate, feeling her stare burn. I swallowed, set my fork down, and locked eyes with her. "Nah," I said, my tone calm but sharp. "I'm just done playing this game where you make demands, and I'm supposed to jump. I'm a man, Anna, not your personal assistant." Her face twitched, like she wanted to fire back, but had no ammo. "You're serious?" she said, her voice rising, irritation cracking through. "You ignored my text about the package? That's so petty." I leaned back, arms crossed, a faint smirk tugging at my lips. "Petty," I said, my voice steady, almost amused. "You called my attempt to hug you a problem. Now you're mad I'm not running your errands. Pick a lane, Anna." She rolled her eyes, her fork clattering on the plate. "You're impossible," she snapped, her voice loud, shaky. "I ask for one thing, and you act like I'm bossing you around. Why do you always turn my words into a weapon?" I felt my pulse thrum in my ears, but I kept my face calm. "Turn your words," I said, my tone dry, cutting. "You told me to back off, so I did. Now you're mad I'm not close enough to grab your packages. Sounds like you're the one swinging." Her mouth opened, then shut. She grabbed her phone, tossed it onto the couch with a huff, and stormed to the bathroom. Her steps heavy. The door slammed, the shower hissing on. I sat there, finishing my dinner, the TV droning. My shoulders relaxed, a small smirk lingering. Round one, and she didn't see it coming. That night, I climbed into bed, the sheets cool against my skin, my body heavy from the day. Anna was already there, lying on her side, her back to me, the room dark except for the faint glow of her phone. I settled in, ready to let the silence bury the fight, but she shifted, her voice cutting through the dark, low but pointed. "You've changed," she said, her tone accusatory, like she'd been stewing. "You're picking fights on purpose, aren't you? Trying to make me feel bad." My jaw tightened, a slow burn creeping up my neck. I stared at the ceiling, my hands resting on my chest, feeling my heart thump steadily. "Changed," I said, my voice calm but sharp, like a blade. "Nah, Anna, I'm just done eating your jabs. You don't get to push me away and then cry when I don't chase you." She rolled over, her eyes glinting in the dark, her voice rising, shaky. "I'm not pushing you away. I'm just asking for space, and you turn it into this war. Why can't we just talk like normal people?" I turned my head, locking eyes with her, my gaze steady. "Normal," I said, my tone cold, deliberate. "Normal's not you texting me orders like I'm your intern. Normal's not you shutting me down when I try to act like your husband. You want to fight, you're getting one. Just not the kind you expected." Her breath hitched, her hands gripping the sheets. "You're so cold," she said, her voice cracking, almost a whisper. "I just wanted a normal conversation, and you make it a courtroom." I sat up slightly, my voice firm, cutting through the dark. "A courtroom," I said, a dry laugh escaping. "You're the one throwing accusations and expecting me to plead guilty. I'm done with your script, Anna. Write a new one." She turned away, her back to me again, the silence heavy. My pulse slowed, but my fists clenched under the blanket, a quiet satisfaction settling in. I lay back down, staring at the ceiling, my breathing even. She wanted a reaction, but I wasn't giving her the one she wanted. The tension simmered for days, like a pot on low heat. Anna's jabs got sharper, her text shorter, her tone colder. Thursday night, I was wiping down the kitchen counter, the rag damp in my hand, when she walked in with a takeout bag from that overpriced sushi place she loved. She set it down, not offering me any, and spoke, her voice casual but pointed. "I was talking to Lena," she said, her eyes flicking to me. "And she thinks you're getting too comfortable, just coasting. Like, what's your plan, huh? You're fine being a desk jockey forever." My hand paused, knuckles whitening on the rag. Lena, her loudmouth friend who always had an opinion on my life. I turned, leaning against the counter, my eyes locking onto hers. "Funny," I said, my voice steady, almost amused. "Lena's got time to critique my career while her husband's still mooching off her credit card. You sure she's the expert you want to quote?" Anna's eyes narrowed, her lips parting like she was ready to swing. "Don't bring Lena into this," she said, her voice rising, sharp with irritation. "This is about you. You're so content just existing. No ambition, no drive. I'm tired of carrying the weight around here." My pulse kicked up, a steady thrum, but I kept my face calm, arms crossed. "Carrying the weight," I said, my tone dry, cutting. "Last I checked, I'm paying the rent, the bills, and for that sushi you're eating. So tell me, Anna, what's this weight you're carrying? Your phone bill? Or the effort it takes to text me orders?" Her face flushed, hands balling into fists. "You're such a jerk," she said, her voice loud, shaky. "I just wanted to talk about our future, and you turn it into a fight." She grabbed her takeout and stormed to the bedroom. The door clicked shut, louder than a slam. I stood there, breathing even, rag still in hand. My chest was tight, but not with guilt, with clarity. She was testing me, pushing buttons, and I wasn't playing. Friday night, my phone pinged as I was leaving the office, my bag slung over my shoulder. It was Katia, Anna's quieter friend, who'd been at the sushi place a few times. Her text was short. "Hey, saw you shut Anna down last night. Honestly, I stopped defending her after that. You were patient too long. You okay?" I stopped in the parking lot, my breath visible in the cool air, a small grin creeping up. I typed back, "I'm good. Just done being her errand boy. Thanks for the check-in." My fingers felt light on the screen, my shoulders looser. Katia's message was a crack in the facade. Someone else saw Anna's game. I got in my car, the engine humming, and felt a spark of validation. I wasn't alone in this. Katia replied as I pulled onto the highway. Took me a while to see it, but she's been like this forever. Always pushing, never giving. You're better than that. I didn't respond, but my grip on the wheel relaxed, a quiet satisfaction settling in. My pulse was steady, my mind clear. Anna's world was starting to notice, and I wasn't the only one drawing a line. Saturday was Lena's birthday party, a packed restaurant with Anna's usual crowd, loud friends, their boyfriends, a few randos. Anna had been distant all night, sticking to her posse, laughing too hard at their jokes, her eyes darting to me like she was checking if I cared. I did, but not how she wanted. I sipped my soda, leaning back, watching her perform. My fingers tapped the glass, my jaw loose, but my eyes sharp. Then she went for it. She leaned into the group, her voice carrying over the chatter, laced with fake casualness. You know, men these days are so sensitive, she said, glancing at me with a smirk. They want all this attention, but we're the ones exhausted, juggling everything. It's like they expect us to be their cheerleaders 24/7. The table went quiet, forks pausing. My pulse spiked, a quick jolt, but I set my glass down, leaned forward, and locked eyes with her. You know, Anna, I said, my voice steady, almost amused. If you think your husband's sensitive for wanting basic respect, maybe don't be shocked when your marriage feels like a chore you forgot to schedule. The silence was deafening. Lena choked on her drink, eyes wide. Katia let out a low, oof, her lips curling into a smirk. Another friend, Sarah, whispered to Anna, loud enough for me to hear. That was harsh, Anna. You kinda walked into that. Anna's face flushed, her mouth opening and closing like she was scrambling for a comeback. You didn't have to say that in front of everyone, she hissed, her voice tight with embarrassment. I shrugged, leaning back, my tone light but cutting. You've had 3 months to hear me in private, Anna. You didn't listen. So yeah, I'll say it here. I took a sip of my soda, my heart pounding but my face calm. Katia piped up, her voice clear, amused. Finally, someone said it. The table stirred, a few nervous laughs breaking the tension. Sarah leaned toward Anna again, muttering, You're pushing too hard. Anna's eyes darted to her, then back to me, her face redder than before. She stuck to her friends the rest of the night, avoiding me. I didn't chase her. I talked to Lena's husband, Mike, about football, laughed at a dumb joke, and let her stew. My hands were steady, but a fire was building inside. Not rage, but resolve. Katia caught my eye as I left, giving a small nod, like she was saying, keep going. I nodded back, my chest light. The crowd was starting to see it, and I wasn't backing down. Sunday evening, I was on the couch, flipping through channels, when Anna walked in, clutching a glossy pamphlet. Her face was set, like she'd rehearsed this. She sat across from me, her movements sharp, and slid the pamphlet across the coffee table. I signed up for this course, she said, her voice trying for confidence but wobbling. It's about being softer, more feminine. I thought it'd be good for us. I picked it up, saw the title, Rediscovering Your Inner Goddess, and felt my stomach twist. Not anger, but pity. I looked at her, her eyes searching mine, and tore the pamphlet in half, slow and deliberate. Her gasp was sharp, her eyes wide. Anna, I said, my voice low, cold. If you need a course to figure out how to be a wife, you were never one to begin with. I didn't sign up for a trial subscription to a relationship. Her face crumpled, then hardened. She stood, her voice rising to a shout. You're so cold. So dry. You act like I'm the problem when you never try to see my side. She grabbed a mug from the table and hurled it at the wall. It shattered, ceramic bits scattering. My pulse spiked, but I stayed still, my eyes locked on hers, my breathing steady. She kept going, her voice cracking. You think you're perfect, but you're impossible to live with. I stood, slow, and walked to the closet, my hands calm, but my heart racing. I pulled out a duffel bag and started packing her clothes, jeans, sweaters, that red dress she loved. She froze, her rant cutting off. What are you doing? She asked, her voice small, almost panicked. I didn't look at her, just kept folding. You've made it clear you don't want this, I said, my tone even, like stating a fact. So I'm making it easier for you. I zipped the bag, set it by the door, and pulled out my phone to call a cab. She started shouting, then crying, her words tumbling. You can't do this. Let's just talk, okay? Let's talk like normal people. I turned to her, my eyes steady, my voice quiet but firm. You've been talking for months, Anna. You just didn't think I was listening. I heard every word. And I'm done. The cab honked outside, and I opened the door. She stood there, tears streaming, hands shaking. Please, she whispered, her voice breaking, can we just try? I looked at her, really looked, and felt nothing but calm. You already showed me who you are, I said, my voice like steel. I believed you the first time. She grabbed her bag, shoulders shaking, and walked out. The door clicked shut, the silence louder than her screams. The first month after she moved to her mom's, my phone was a battlefield. Texts, voicemails, all begging for a talk. I deleted them on sight, my fingers steady, my jaw tight. I didn't need to block her. I was just done. The apartment felt lighter, like the air wasn't thick with her expectations. I'd come home, cook steak, watch a game, my shoulders loosening for the first time in years. One evening, a few weeks after the breakup, I came home with a bag of groceries, the keys jangling as I unlocked the door. The apartment was quiet, just the hum of the fridge and the faint crackle of the radio I'd left on. I set the bag on the counter, unpacking chicken, a loaf of bread, some apples. My eyes caught a mug on the shelf. Hers, with Mrs. Always Right scrawled in tacky pink cursive. I stared at it, my jaw tightening for a second, then grabbed it and tossed it into the trash with a dull clunk. A small grin crept up as I pulled out my phone and texted Katia. "How's your week going? No drama over here for once." Her reply came quick. "It suits you, man. Living without her soap opera looks good on you." I chuckled, my chest light, and set the phone down. I cracked open a soda, the fizz sharp in the quiet, and leaned against the counter, the tension in my shoulders gone. The place was mine now, no demands, no games. Just me, my food, my space. 2 months later, I ran into Anna at a coffee shop. I was grabbing a latte, my laptop bag slung over my shoulder, when I saw her by the window. She looked smaller, hair pulled back, eyes tired. She stood, hesitant, her voice soft, almost fragile. "Hey," she said, "can we talk for a sec?" I nodded, staying on my feet, hands in my pockets. "Sure," I said, my tone neutral. "What's up?" She fidgeted with her cup, eyes darting to the floor. "I've been thinking," she said, her voice low, "about everything. I messed up. I didn't realize how I was pushing you away. I'm sorry." Her eyes flicked up, searching for a crack in my armor. I let the silence stretch, my breathing even, my gaze steady. "I appreciate the apology," I said, my voice calm but firm. "But you don't get to rewrite the story now. You had the pen the whole time, and you used it to erase us." Her face fell, lips trembling, the weight hitting her hard. My chest tightened, not with regret, but with finality. I wish I'd done things differently," she whispered, her voice barely audible. I shrugged, my tone light but sharp. "Wishes don't change what's done. Take care, Anna." I turned and walked out, the bell above the door chiming. My heart was steady, my steps sure. The crisp air hit my face, and her words slipped off me like water. Now my life's mine again. I waked to sunlight spilling through the blinds, not Anna's text demanding something new. My mornings are clockwork. Gym at 6 a.m., coffee run before work, Fridays with Mike and Katia over wings at the bar. Katia still sends memes about dodging bullets. Her latest one a cartoon of a guy sidestepping a landmine. "You're looking lighter, man," she said last week, clinking her soda against mine. My apartment's clean, no scattered mugs, no tension in the air. I cook what I want, steak or pasta, and eat without checking my phone for the next fight. Last weekend, I rearranged the bedroom, ditched the old bed frame for a sleek new one. No one's here to hog the blanket anymore. While heating up dinner, I scroll through old chats, deleting them without a second glance. I'm not bitter, not broken. I'm just a guy who knows his worth and won't settle for less. And if anyone tries to